All right, so today is May 13th, which is making it the 13th day of our May challenge for Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm Lauren McLaughlin. I am the co founder of Conscious 7, and we have a new flow day today that is going to be a little different from how we've been flowing on the mat. But don't worry, we're going to get down on the mat. But first things first. So, a big part of the work that we do here at Conscious 7 is to help clients, to help people like you discover what's really going on inside before you actually take part in any type of activity, whether it is running a marathon, whether it is playing tennis, whether it is doing Pilates or yoga, whether it is doing any type of movement exercise, is that you have to tap into that inner awareness and free up, as I shared yesterday, some space within you so that you can move and perform well. Otherwise, you are prone to injury. You're prone to, even in my opinion, feeding whatever dis-ease is going on in you, because we all carry dis-ease within us, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So one of my favorite books, which is by Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. It's almost like a little Bible that I carry around with all of my other resources that I've used over my years of teaching, is that the being able to express yourself and understand where in your body trauma is being stored is going to serve you so well in terms of how you then start to participate in whatever it is, whether it's movement or whether it is in conversation, whether it is at your workplace or in your personal lives. So the first flowing exercise that we are going to work on today is taking you through an expressive writing exercise. The first part of it, we're just touching on it lightly today. So if you want to understand more about this, join the masterclass. It happens every Wednesday because we're going to be digging much deeper into how we tap deeper into whatever emotions or trauma are being stored in your body so that you can move more freely and out of pain. All right, so the first exercise that we're going to do is discover maybe a past trauma. I'm looking a little blurry here. I think my camera did an auto fix here. So the first exercise that I want you to do is to get a notebook. And if you don't have one, don't stress. You can do it at another time. But I want you just to pause and think. You can close your eyes and think of a past traumatic event that maybe occurred in your life. It could be present. It could be something in the past. And just don't be surprised if something comes out that you go, wait a minute, I had no recollection of that memory or that trauma that ended up coming out, because it happens. It happens. So all I want you to do is close your eyes here for maybe, 5-10 seconds or more. Just take your time and try to retrieve any trauma that may, just pick one, just a traumatic event that occurred in your life. And just sit with whatever that memory is of that traumatic experience. Take in 3 deep breaths. All the deep breathing that we've been working on today, as I'm working with my eyes closed because I'm doing the same exercise with you, is the deep breathing is inhaling through the nose, deep and expansive all the way down into the lower lobes of your lungs, and then a deep exhale is coming out as if it's like pulling out from your lower core center. Inhaling deeply into your lungs and your entire abdominal cavity, and exhale out. Just feel that full release. One more breath. Deep inhale through the nose, and an exhale out through the mouth. All right, so sit with that memory of whatever the trauma that came forward. And when you have the time, I want you to start to write about that traumatic experience, and just write. In a particular writing exercise that I've worked closely with my dear friend, Dr. John Evans here at Duke Integrative Health, is that you write for 20 minutes and write and write and write. If you can't think of anything else to write, you can just stop and sit with it. Or if it becomes too emotional, you can stop and come back to it at another time. But write about that traumatic event. Now, what I and we have found here at Conscious 7 that is like the superpower of releasing the trauma and getting your mind, body really sharp and clear and strong and toned is that we start to superimpose that traumatic work, this writing work, with movement. And when you have that superimposement of movement on top of this work of surfacing up that trauma or that negative emotion, you're going to have a much greater chance of letting it go. So over these past days, so just sit with that trauma, just sit with whatever that thought is, that memory that came forward for you. Now we're going to move it down onto the mat. We're going to pull out some of the movements that we've done earlier in this challenge. We're going to start off on our hands and knees. So as I was speaking earlier as well in the challenge was about releasing of trauma. But now we've introduced a writing exercise to help you process where that trauma is coming from, the root of the trauma. Now we're going to move with our breath, move with our body to help let that traumatic event go. Because if you're experiencing any hip pain, the hip area, the pelvic area, just I was sharing a couple of days ago, is our psoas, the muscle of our soul. It loves to hang on to past trauma. So the hip and the pelvic region, just to be general, is an area that you may be feeling a lot of discomfort. You may want to do a little writing exploration to help you possibly release whatever that is going on where it's storing in your hip. You may have shoulder discomfort. You may have neck discomfort. You may have back discomfort. Guess what? It may be in your knees. So you see, our body can hold this trauma in a lot of places throughout our body that just might surprise you if you do the right exercises by writing and getting to know your trauma and then moving your body. And guess what? You're going to be so lean and strong that on the other side of all this work, and I can promise you that. Here we go with some movement. So we're going into some cat and cow because this is just a wonderful, simple exercise that you can do to start to move through whatever the trauma experience may be that is showing up for you. Inhale deeply through the nose. Deep exhale, let out whatever pain is associated with that trauma. Inhaling to extend and stretch. Exhale to push into the floor and round your spine. Inhaling for 2 more. Exhaling to flex. Inhaling to extend. Exhaling to flex. We're going to hold our flexed spine. We're going to shift back. Inhale, exhale, come forward. We're staying in flexion. And keeping your focus on whatever experience came into your mind as you were writing or as you were just simply discovering maybe what past trauma has been stored within you and you just haven't been able to release it. And now we're going to come back up to our neutral position. We're going to now go to a reverse. We're going to our cow, which is extension of the spine. And we're going back with your tailbone sticking back behind you. And you exhale, you bring it forward. And exhale, bring it forward. And exhale, bring it forward. 2 more. Even though this may look like it's a simple exercise, I can promise you if all of you will do this, you will actually feel so, 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 so good. We're going to round the spine one more time. Push up, pull up with your core. Feel that nice stretch occurring in the lower back. We're going to bear claw. I left my shoes on today. So we're going to bear claw, and bear claw is the one, we did it earlier. You can have the hands slightly forward of the shoulders so that you don't have too much of a load in the shoulders. You're going to push into the floor. You're going to float up your knees. You're going to round your spine and hold here and breathe. Again, stay with the memory that showed up for you when you had that first question presented. What past trauma is showing up in your life? And deep, deep breathe through it. One more breath. Lower it down and sit back in a child's pose and stretch your arms out. Walk your hands over to the right, and I want you to bump your hips over to the left. Feel the stretch. Again, continue to breathe and continue to keep your focus on whatever traumatic experience showed up when you were asked that question. And if it is wanting to leave you, you're saying, please, I don't want to remember that, or that couldn't have happened, try to bring it forward because that's part of the work. Couple more breaths. Excellent. And then go ahead and come on back to your center, and then you're going to rest. All right, so I'm just going to keep it simple today with those few movements that you can do, with the focus now being, when I feel like I'm a little out of focus here in the camera, but the focus is holding on to whatever traumatic experience. Acknowledge it, feel it, and when you write, that is what helps you to acknowledge where that trauma is being stored in your body. And I can guarantee you, which pretty much I can, we've seen it happen too many times, that you're going to experience that release. And when you do so, guess what? It releases in your body. So whatever discomforts, whatever pains may have been showing up through, back pain, neck pain, headaches, you just might see those go away. And wouldn't that be a lovely thing? So I had somebody tell me the other day, well, I don't think I've ever experienced any trauma. And I was like, seriously, no, you had your head in the sand. Everyone has experienced trauma. Every single one of us. If you are a human being, you have experienced trauma. It may have been the traumatic experience of a divorce, your parents' divorce. It may have been, a break of your pinky. It may have been a breakup with a boyfriend, etc. It may have been a miscarriage. So you can see trauma has shown up for every single one of us. And some of them are easier to release. That somatic memory is going to be able to kind of fly away a lot faster than some that were heavier. And it doesn't mean that it had to be just an extreme traumatic event for it to be negatively stored in your body and have that somatic memory buried deep into your tissues and cells. So I know we went a little bit deeper today in this Friday the 13th challenge of our May challenge for mental wellness, mental health awareness month. But I'll tell you, this is a key part to healing any mental health concerns that are showing up in your life, and just give that a try. So if you want to know more, again, try the masterclass that I'm holding every Wednesday, where we go deeper into the emotions, we go deeper into movement exploration, so that you are living your best life and you're living healthy, you're living well, and that's what we want. So make it an amazing weekend. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. As you can see, it was a little different time today because I had another commitment I couldn't get out of, but we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.